Okay, I want to show you how the invisible zipper looks inside the blouse. All right, this is an invisible zipper set into the seam so you can't see the zipper at all, and it's on the left side seam of the blouse. Here's the little tab down here, the pull tab, and one thing you want to note is that a zipper for a blouse goes in upside down. So the stop is at the bottom, the stop is at the top here near the armhole, and then the bottom is at the hem, which is the opposite of what you do for a skirt or a dress. So keep that in mind, and then when we open it, be very gentle going past the underbust seam there, but it should go past easily. Your zipper ends a little bit past the underbust seam at the circle mark, and when I open it up, what you're going to see is the stabilizer tape under there, very important so that your seam allowances don't stretch out, causing your zipper to not match when you sew in the second side of it. And then what you're going to see here is that the stitching goes in that little ditch in the invisible zipper tape. Okay, so then when it rolls in, it's all hidden and the zipper hides itself in the seam, and that's what makes it an invisible zipper. And then at the bottom, the hem encases the trimmed off edge of the zipper tape for a nice neat look there. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how you actually insert the zipper. Okay, what we have here is my blouse that we got up to the end of step 5, and then the trimmed off zipper. And so what you're seeing here is the zipper opening for the front and then for the back. And here's my zipper. It's going to go upside down like I was just saying, and then what you're going to do is we're working with the front first. Okay, so you are going to open out the seam allowance here like that. And then the zipper gets turned over and placed like this so that the zipper, that ditch there, gets aligned with the pressed in crease on the blouse that you just did, which I just wrote about. Okay, so we are going to align this. What you want is for the zipper stop to be 5/8 of an inch above the bottom here. So it's around that zipper stop, but the mark for the zipper stop, but you might want to just double check that. So measure from the bottom to about there. And then the teeth of the zipper are going to align with the crease that you pressed in with your iron. And now we're just going to pin, and notice the direction I'm going in. I'm putting my pin heads so they're kind of upside down from what you might expect, because we're going to stitch from the hem up to the base of the zipper. So just put a few pins in, and then it's going to end, your stitching is going to end at the circle mark up here. So I gave myself a little mark on my fabric so that I know where to stop stitching. Okay, so this looks a little funny. Right now, this is what the zipper looks like because I have it turned upside down and then this seam allowance pressed open flat. But eventually this is going to get turned in and the zipper is going to be flipped around like that, and that's going to be stitched to this seam allowance. So that's why invisible zippers can be a little confusing. The first time I put one in, I twisted it and it was not actually functional. So if you make a mistake, don't worry about it. It happens to all of us. Just go ahead and pin this first side. Now I'm going to go over to the machine and show you how to stitch this. Okay, so I have my invisible zipper foot on here. That's the number 35 foot for Bernina. And I'm just going to roll open the zipper teeth here. Okay, and what this zipper foot does is it helps me hold open the zipper teeth with that little ridge on the bottom, that little bump on the bottom of the zipper foot, okay? Because that's the challenge with invisible zippers, is keeping this rolled open so that you're actually stitching in that little ditch. All right, I'm gonna start stitching here, back stitch. And as you stitch your invisible zipper, you want to make sure that it stays as flat as possible, rolled open and flat. And I just kind of keep rolling it open like that. And then you can kind of hold it taut from the back as well. And see how my foot is helping me hold that open, and then it's actually stitching right into the stitch. can see that I am at the underbust seam now, so I'm just going to keep stitching as usual. And I'm going to stop my stitching at the mark that I made, the circle mark on the blouse. So there I go. I'm going to back stitch here. Okay, one side completed. I'm going to show you how to pin the next side now. Okay, I've stitched in the first side of the zipper, and you can always check here that you're able to open your zipper and close it, and that it's hiding in the seam. Okay, so I'm just gonna close it again. Everything looks good. All right, now I'm gonna take the other side, the back side of the blouse with the zipper opening, and you want the underbust seam to match on either side of the zipper. So what I do is I just match these two like that, and then put a little mark on the zipper tape of the side we're gonna stitch. And that mark actually needs to be on both sides, and it does kind of bleed through with this invisible marker that I'm using, the disappearing ink marker. So make sure you have it on both sides. And now what I'm going to do is open out the seam allowance on the back zipper opening. Roll this over flat. Okay, so this is flat now. Now I'm going to twist it so that it's going, the correct side is going down. And I'm going to match my mark up with the underbust seam here. And then I'm going to pin there first. And then I'm going to pin the rest of the way down. Again, just matching my teeth up with the crease where you ironed in your seam allowance. And again, I'm going to be stitching from the hem up to the armhole, so that's why I'm positioning my pin heads where they are. Okay, and now I can flip this over up here. Put one more pin at the top. Now we're going to go back to the machine and stitch this just like I stitched the other side, bottom to top. Okay, I'm rolling out the zipper teeth so that they're flat. Positioning it under the zipper foot where I want it. I'm going to start stitching on this side. Okay, kind of keep it open as you go. Again, the zipper foot should help you keep it rolled correctly. And that's what I like about using an invisible zipper foot as opposed to a regular zipper foot, because the invisible zipper foot helps you, whereas with using a regular zipper foot, you kind of have to do more of the work. On this, the invisible zipper foot is rolling the teeth out for me just like I need them to be, so I feel like I get a better result with it. So go as far as you can until you get to the zipper stop there, and then back stitch. And now let's take a look at our zipper over here. It all looks a little funny, and I still have moments where I think I put it in wrong because everything looks all twisted when you take it out of the machine. I'm going to close it, see how it looks. My underbust seam matches nicely. And there you go. You have your invisible zipper in there. You're not seeing it because it's in the seam. If you are seeing some of the zipper tape there, you can go back and try to stitch a little bit closer. You can always get a second chance with an invisible zipper. Now let me show you the final thing I'm going to do with this, which is finish stitching this seam. I'm going to put on a regular zipper foot now, and I'm going to stitch the rest of this seam from the stabilizing tape up to the armhole. And what I like to do is leave a little gap between those two lines of stitching, and it's hard to see on this, so I'm going to actually copy and paste the illustration into the sew along post, because what you want is about 1/8 of an inch gap between the invisible stitching line and your next line of stitching that finishes the seam,
because that helps it look a little smoother on the outside of the blouse than if they overlap, which can cause a pucker. Okay, so I'm gonna do that. I will show you a picture of the finished result, but that is how you put in your invisible zipper. I hope that helps.